Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. It's my afternoon show. It starts at 1 o'clock. Now I'm on 3 times a day, one at 8 o'clock in the morning, one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, another time at 6 o'clock in the evening. I broadcast this 3 times every day, 7 days a week, and I've been doing this since October of 2023. I started off with 2 times a day, and I went for 2 years. And in December, well, actually, almost 2.5 years. In December, the latter part of December, I had taken time off, and the last 2 weeks of December, all of January, and 3 weeks in February. I came back on the 28th of February, and I've been going nonstop, 3 shows a day after day, week after week. Now, I've talked to over 2,600 people, all 50 states. I've talked to somebody, and then also I've talked to 30 countries. And here we are to address and talk about what I call the Child Protection Services. It has many different names in every county, in every state, every city, and every country. And I'm open to anybody that has a child protection system matter. Now, child protection is supposed to do 3 things. There's some other things too. 1, they're supposed to protect your child from abuse. 2, they're supposed to protect your child from neglect. And 3, if they need to take your child, if they're in imminent danger, they're supposed to do what's called family reunification. If they don't need to take your child, they're still supposed to do family reunification, because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents. Now, I see a lot of you at start in the beginning of the show, and I've tried to rearrange it so that each show is different. They're recorded, and you can play them back, and you can see them on Facebook, on Reels. You can see them on YouTube. You just type into the internet. And I've learned a lot about the internet because phones that use the internet are limited. Computers have a better access with the internet. I didn't realize it now. I've been here at the start of computers. As an example, Spectrum, who is one of the internet providers and television providers and mobile phone providers, has an applications like a lot of the other providers, Frontier, Verizon, and all the other ones in there, that give an application that works on the phone, but it isn't updated. There's a lot of things that are missing off it. And so I was told, you dummy, you should go to the internet on your computer. Well, sad to say, that's one of my devices that is not working at the moment. And I have a part that I've ordered to come in. And I am really finding myself at times strapped. And anyway, in order for me to take care of you guys, I want to be able to answer your questions and concerns. So you need 2 devices. The phone for phone calls, because the phone cannot handle the looking it up without the phone being disconnected, or doing the application on YouTube, which I use, is called StreamYard. So with the computer, you can have the applications, you can look it up on the internet, you don't lose your picture or your sound when people are talking on it. And with the phone, you can take calls in on the phone. You can take calls in on the phone. So it's a 2-device setup. Anyway, I'm hoping all of you that have a child protection matter will either send me a text right now, and all I ask is your first name and the city and state you're at, and then also the city and the country you're at. I would like that. I would like that very, very much. Now, you guys may have had a rough day, or maybe CPS is new to you. What I mean about CPS is a government entity that was enacted by Congress in 1974 that basically directed social services to put together a group of social workers that would protect their children from abuse and neglect and do family reunification. Because studies have shown that the families, the regular biological parent, the mother and father, are the best parents to raise their children. And if there's a glitch, that by taking parenting classes, drug rehab programs, domestic violence programs, there are programs and parenting classes that the social service can help you with, and they should be helping you. The purpose of social service is to help out U.S. citizens in need. Now, why I emphasize the word U.S., because it seems for the last 4 years, we've been helping everybody in the world. If you're a guy somewhere in the Andes in South America and you want to come to the USA, which is great, you were not vetted. You did not have to become a U.S. citizen, and you got all the benefits that U.S. citizens get, such as food, welfare, Medi-Cal. You got education for your children, education for yourself. You got transportation, even got offered a job. And in California, they're offering jobs at $25 an hour, starting at McDonald's. So if you're a guy in the Andes, that sounds really good to you. But what the problem is you have children or you brought children with you, and suddenly they're in the system too. And we have a lot of cases where sometimes parents don't know how to discipline their kids. They don't know how to take care of their children. Now, I'm a little bit different. I'm on different tangents, but I'm trying to make this show different. Only because, you repeat yourself 3 times a day. You got to go. My goal is to make sure you guys get an attorney, because the only way you're going to get out of your mess is to get an attorney to defend you. So my goal is to do that and give you 5 rules that will help you hang on to your children or get your families back together. It's not the end of the world if you have a CPS case. I thought it was. I did not know how bad CPS was until I got involved. I know firsthand. And I've talked to 2,600 people, and about 2,500 are in the United States. And if that is the case, then there's approximately 3,144 counties in all the states. And every county has a CPS branch there, a part of social services. They give it names like the Child Protection Services, Department of Children and Family Services, Department of Children's Services, the Cabinet. There are different counties, but they all have the same thing they're supposed to have in common. Well, what's happened is more than half of the counties have gone bad or they're bad. So you have a 50-50 chance you encounter a bad CPS entity where they'll lie, they take your money, they traffic your children into foster care, and later their children are abused, run away, and end up in the sex trafficking on the streets. That's where your children will end up. Not all CPS is like that. But there's no check and balances with this agency. They have a supervisor, they have a director, and that's it. No board of directors, no governing board watching them, maintaining how the money's being spent, how the social workers are talked to. And furthermore, the social workers that once were experienced, and this is in California, are let go. That happened in 2010. The state of California was low on money. They need to cut corners somewhere. So they laid off all these experienced social workers so they could hire people that barely have a high school education to try to do the same job. It's a hard job being a social worker. It's a hard job giving aids to families. Families, it's hard for you to make ends meet when the price of a dozen eggs is $10. The price of milk is $5 a gallon. Bananas are 70 cents a pound. Gas is rising. There is a reason which doesn't make sense because only 20% of the oil and the USA is self-dependent. But oh no, they jack up the barrels of oil. I mean, they go from $55 now to $110. And we are trying to clean up our country and the world, and the president is trying to do everything all at once. And for this past year, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. But one thing that hasn't changed is how our children are handled, how our children are abused and neglected. 1,000 cases go unreported a day. And then the ones that do intervene go the opposite way of the pendulum. 50% of the CPSs are bad out there. You won't know until you encounter it. Mine was bad. 2,500 people in the US was bad. Now another 100 people are bad, but they're out of the USA. I'm only talking about the USA CPS, but I do want to help people that have a CPS case. Last night, I had a gentleman from Nova Scotia, Canada, that had a terrible CPS case. Last week, I had a lady from Scotland that had another one that had 2 kids taken away. She just found out she's pregnant, and they're going to take her 3rd child as soon as the child gives birth. And she doesn't know what to do. Now, I'm found on Facebook on 7 rooms and 1 on YouTube. That's 8 rooms. They'll link you to this room. This room is run with the application from StreamYard. And it gives me the format that I'm able to do things on here. And one thing I'm able to answer your questions and your concerns and give you the direction that you need. A lot of you cannot afford an attorney. I'm trying to find ways that you can afford an attorney. Now, I have an attorney. His name is Vincent Davis, who works for me. You can call the office at 888-888-6582. And he is available. He will defend you. He has 40 years of fighting CPS. He is well educated in the areas of dependency law, of family law, and juvenile law. Those are the 3 areas of law that every attorney should have, minimum. He's also further educated in criminal law. He's also a trial attorney. He can do trials. Now in CPS, there is no jury trial. There is no jury trial. And that's sad because there should be. That's one of the changes I want to make. If you are being accused, you should be alleged and you should be innocent till you're proven guilty. But that's not how CPS operates. Once a complaint is filed, a report comes in either from lay people or from professionals, you're automatically guilty by CPS. They assume you're guilty. So they take on a negative role and make you feel bad and treat you bad. Now, I have people in my room right now. I'd love to hear a question or a comment. All I need is your first name and the city and state or the city and country you're from. And I'll gladly help answer your questions. Now, I am talking about the attorney that works for me. And you need to get quotes from 3 attorneys to make sure you get the right attorney. And you need to personally interview 3 attorneys and then make a decision which one of the 3 you're going to hire. You should try to find 5 attorneys first. And you do my rule number 4 is how to use the internet. The internet is all full of good information. It's also full of bad information. It has a dark side to it, the dark web, that our children get drawn into it. They get drawn into it, and it's sad. It's sad that our children right now are so abused. They get sometimes pulled in. CPS breaks apart the family for no reason. Then the children are automatically trafficked into foster care where they're further abused. They weren't abused by the family. Maybe the family's going through a lost job or hard economic times we're in. There should be compassion from social workers. I've only met one social worker that's shown any compassion, and that was a guest on my show, by the way. She was from Maryland. Her name was Carol, and she was very compassionate. But every social worker that I've talked to, including ones that involved my family, were rude, arrogant, and they did not care. All they cared about was money. CPS is all about money. That's why they're in this business. Because they get $20,000 per child per month. And if the child has special needs, they get another additional $10,000. That's $30,000 per month per child. Because billions of dollars are given to the state, and from the state, millions are given to the county. In fact, there is in Richmond, Kentucky, they found out who was embezzling. They have $1 million that the cabinet, which they call their CPS, was missing. They found a social worker and embezzled 600,000 of it. They're still looking for the 400,000. But I know it goes on all the time everywhere. All I have to do is talk to somebody. Yes, Lisa. Welcome, Lisa. And thank you for distracting me because I guess I sound angry in my conversation. I need to. I just had a very unpleasant time with a representative that's supposed to provide a service for me, and they were very rude. I think when anybody calls someone stupid is a wrong connotation. People need good people skills, and CPS has one of the worst people skills. They need to be respectful to our elders. They need to be respectful to families. We try to, when we're born in this world, eke out a living. We're born into a family, and hopefully it's a good family. But a lot of times circumstances come up. The father may have lost his job. The father may have gone to war. The father or the mother may disagree on things, whatever the case may be. But I think it's important that we show compassion. And, Lisa is somebody I've met the last year and a half. I've never met her. I've seen her live when she talked on my show, and she's told me about her case. And I'm talking about her now because she is struggling right now because there's a new change in her life. You have to go back to when she was a small girl. She was abused as a small girl. And she grew up in foster care. Only thing is, she didn't know that when she turned 18, she needs to get her records expunged. If you are a minor that is now transitioning to adulthood, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your foster care or all your dealings with CPS is expunged, and any criminal activity as a juvenile, you're allowed to start a free slate at the age of 18. You're allowed to start in this world with a chance to better your life. But if you have a criminal record following you, they're going to get you. And CPS does do that. It's a known fact that they'll come in there. There's Faye Manley, another girl that used to be a co-host of my show from Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky. And she still sends me and still keeps in touch. But her body's been destroyed by CPS. As a young child, her mother, that she still loved dearly, was doing drugs and she needed help with CPS. But instead of helping her, they gave her with an abusive foster family. And then she got caught up in the sex trafficking as a teenager. I mean, she did horrible things, such as a young girl, I don't know how young it was, but it had to be 12 or 13 or something. She would lay with disgusting men so that other girls wouldn't have to experience what she was experiencing for them. She was tortured in foster care by standing on rocks so hard they hurt her foot. She's still being, how can you say it, stalked by the local police using drones. She lost her girl only because social services, and by the way, she grew up and got a high school education and a nursing degree. But then when she started to have children, she didn't expunge her records, and CPS found she had children. And then one day they fabricated something, and um, she got her daughter taken away because she had to make a choose, her son or her daughter. CPS thought she couldn't raise two children. Her son was special needs, so he needed a mother full time. So she had to let her daughter go. That hurts her still to this day. Her daughter would never know. Her daughter's probably printed in a different story. Yes, there are a lot of stories that have me angered. There's a story of my own daughter, who at 12 years old was coached by not only the social worker, who only had a high school education and very little experience in social working, along with the judge, who was a judge that wasn't qualified for dependency law, that was only qualified for property damage and auto claims, and a CASA worker, a court appointed service advocate. That is who a CASA worker is. Everybody gets one when they get involved in CPS, parents and children. But all they are is listening ears. They try to win your heart over, and you tell them too much, you tell them the wrong things, they twist it, it goes to the social worker. Those three individuals, along with my in-laws, which I later found out were the ones that made the false allegations, coached my daughter to get divorced from her mom and dad at 12 years of age. Not only that, changed her name completely. She had a beautiful middle name, Hanalei. It's one of those beautiful places. I used to have a home that overlooked Honolulu and with the Valley High picture from South Pacific. That's one of my most favorite places on earth. And that's where one day I wanted to retire 30 years ago. But I don't know if it ever will happen again because I lost my forever home fighting CPS. But she changed her name completely. First, and I don't know if she has a middle name or I know she has a last name. It's her adopted foster care people who buffaloed her, convinced her, bought her a Disneyland pass so that she could continue Disneyland. I had to cut the Disneyland passes, and my children were bummed up because of that. I spoiled my children. I should have gave them, chores to do. I had, I did mistakes in all my children. I have 6 children I've raised. Thank God they're all contributing to society. And that's true, Lisa. We'll go to Congress and tell you the story. We'll go to Congress and tell the story. But my daughter, furthermore, was instructed to seal her birth certificate. Where's a child of 12 know about that? Not only did she, and I know it firsthand because I went to get a copy and they said, we can't give it to you. Her birth certificate's sealed. I already have her original birth certificate. I just wanted to check to see if I get a certified copy. But they said, no, you can't because it's sealed. So she had a new birth certificate and she put her foster care and pretended that they're her parents. 12 years later, they're her parents. And on top of that, someone coached her to get a new Social Security card and she double dipped for my retirement. That's against the law. And I had to fight with CPS because they wondered where all this money's being spent. I told them, it's not me. Go look at the Social Security number. That's wrong. I won my case, by the way. I won my case against social services. They're trying to get me saying that I misspent the funds. Every dime that I took out of my retirement that I earned from working at the age of 15 was spent on my kids. If I'm giving money for my kids to help me when I'm at a certain age, because they do help out seniors that have children later in life by having more of your retirement money. By the way, that retirement is money I earned. It wasn't earned by anybody else. And the interest I was earning on the money, the government gets to keep. If any of you realize Social Security, that interest should be yours. And when you retire, you should get the full amount or be able to invest it. but instead they send out in dribbles, and I struggle. They are just barely keep me afloat. And a little tiny job I got helps supplement it. But that job I can't depend on. That job I can't depend on. It's one of those things that it's sad, the arrangements I got with that job. Because I'm behind in my gas bill and electric bill. And it's overdue. And I don't mean to be talking about me or my daughter or anything, but these are firsthand facts I know. Or you got the pink ladies in Prescott, Arizona. Now, Prescott, Arizona is the Department of Children's Services. That's DCS. And they have a Department of Children's Service in that county in Prescott. And Prescott, by the way, is known for the Billy Jack movies of the early 70s, late 60s. You see, in 69 was a very challenging event that I went to at the White House, or at the Capitol, the federal Capitol building in Washington, D.C. AIM, the American Indian Movement, was marching because for over, for over 200 years, I got to say longer than that. I think for over 600 years, promises have been made to the first immigrants in our country. People don't realize that the Native Americans 10,000 years ago in their structure today, the same structure because there's different kinds of men and women that evolved. And I don't want to go back 50,000 years or a million years, the dinosaur years. No, this is the show for that. I could talk a lot about that, but it's not. But these first immigrants have been abused. And it really got serious if they have a thing that's passed by government. The first thing they passed for Indians, they've made so many promises, so many broken treaties, was ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, that basically says if you are a registered Indian of a federal recognized tribe, the tribe is allowed to take care of your CPS matter, meaning that they'll put them with an Indian family who will do a lot better than foster care will, a lot better than foster care will, and help the family with parenting classes and programs, fix their problem. Because again, the best parents to raise a child are the biological parents. Now, I've moved around a little bit, but I want to go back to Prescott. I was telling you about the place Prescott. Well, a couple years ago, 8 social workers decided to buy pink t-shirts. Now, I have nothing against pink. I think pink represents breast cancer awareness, which is a good thing. A lot of people wear pink. Race car drivers will paint their cars pink. And I know that drivers like Catherine Legg will promote breast cancer awareness. She's the IndyCar racer. I first met her when she was like 15 years old doing the Atlantic Series races. Anyway, my background is very extent, and it comes out sometimes. And anyway, these ladies did one thing awful. First of all, they represent the child protection system. Their department is called the Department of Children's Services. So DCS thought it was cute that they would stencil on the front of their t-shirts, professional child kidnappers. You know what that message conveys? Professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they put, parents, do you know where your kids are at? And they paraded around to walk in public in Prescott through all the big department stores. I don't need to go all to them, from Costco to Target to Sears to Walmart to Best Buys to J.C. Penney's, May Company, Kmart, Walmart. I mean, I probably repeated myself. And the parents were so outraged that somehow the city said to the director of that agency and those 8 workers, you guys are out. You're gone today. And they booted them out of the city, left them with one person, a man, to try to handle all the cases of CPS. the ongoing cases, the investigation cases, the trials, everything. One man. Now that has hurt the children further. Not only do we hurt children, we hurt them further. And if that's not to get you angry, there's a lot of things that will. There's a lot of things. So my daughter and the Pink Ladies are two examples. The Pink Ladies is secondhand information. I read about it. I wasn't there, but my daughter's firsthand information. A lot of corruptness goes around in CPS. A lot of corruptness does. And, you have a lady like Erin, and she's not on at the moment. She's from Tennessee, but she's one of my family. And Lisa, who's come on early this time. I'm glad to see you, Lisa. But let me tell you about Lisa. I was telling you about Faye, how she was abused. I don't know all the particulars about Lisa when she was a small child and how she was abused. But I know that she was abused. And she got abused again by CPS when she grew up and had children. Now, she has a girl. I don't know how old she is, but I think she's older than her son. Her son was 4 when he got involved, and now I think he turned 5 in January. A beautiful boy. She loved him. She showed me pictures of him. He loves his mother. He always has. But for some apparent reason, the man that she was married to a long time ago, she got divorced from him. He raped her again. And I don't know if that's the child out of rape, but I think it is. But she was raising him. But he went back in the picture because CPS will pay him money to raise that child. That's why a lot of people do it. It's that money thing. It's all about money. Money makes this whole world go around. If people stopped for a moment and did away with money, we'd be better off. We'd be better off. I've been very wealthy a long time ago. Up until 2010, I didn't have a money problem in the world. I had a beautiful home, a 2-story home in a private neighborhood with CC&Rs, 1 mile to the beach. A beautiful dog park. You could ride your horse on the horse trails. There was a horse stable. There's so much you could do where I lived. I had everything going for me. But unfortunately, I lost my job. And it's all about money. It is all about money. I lost my job not because of my performance. It's because the person that was in charge of a government entity was having trouble making ends meet, and the government was going to fail. That was the state of California. The California government was failing. And the governor, you all know, he's in a lot of movies. I have no offense against him. I've met the governor. I've talked to him. He's the one that says, I'll be back. Seems to be a good person. The reason why I talked to him, I had a construction job over by his home on Sunset Boulevard. And his home was across the 405 freeway, the west side of the 405 freeway to Santa Monica. And he wasn't governor then when I talked to him. Because believe me, if I knew what he did then and I talked to him, he'd hear my earpiece. But anyway, he became the governor. And that's great. We've had other movie actors like Ronald Reagan became the governor of California and then later the governor of the United States. He'd love to be president of the United States, but he wasn't born here. You have to be born in the United States or one of its territories. I know there's some talk that Obama was never born. There's been some talk about other presidents and so forth, and other candidates. But anyway, I want to tell you that these incidents of the Pink Ladies or my daughter, that's what CPS does, or what they did to Lisa or Faye, what they may have done to Aaron. Even my latest family member, his name is David Hilago. He's been a friend of the show for a good year or two, and he lives in Santa Maria. And it's in Santa Barbara County. And sad to say, that CPS and the police were corrupt. It seems like a combination, and I don't know if 50% of the police are corrupt in the United States. I can't state that because I don't know how many police there are. I think there's more than the 3,000. Excuse me, the 5,000. Well, the 2,500 people I've talked to. I think there are more than 2,500 people police. There may be 10,000 police, and half of that be five. But I know maybe it's 25% of the police are corrupt. I know that 50% of the CPS is corrupt because there's only 3,144 CPS agencies because that's how many counties there are. Every county has a CPS agency. So that's how many counties there are. So your chances of getting a corrupt CPS entity is 50-50. Now with police, your chances are maybe 25-50, maybe 25% of the time. But they work hand in hand and they intimidate because they're supposed to protect a social worker. 2 weeks ago, a social worker was trampled to death by a guy strung out on drugs. Where was the police there to protect him? I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, but they do one step further. CPS uses them as intimidators. Come on in with me. Stand there. Help me take away this child. Tell them I need to take the child. Well, they have to have a court order to take the child, or the child's got to be in imminent danger. If it's not in imminent danger, children are not supposed to be broken from family, but they do it because of money. Now, I've talked about 36 minutes, and I've gotten some new people in here. And this is Small. Glad to meet you, Small. I guess I'll call you by that name. I guess I'll be your first name, Small. I got Small ZKU, but I'm going to call you Small. Now, I don't know what city or state you're in, but please tell me your city or state. And if you're from another country, welcome. All I need is the city and country. Now, I'm going to put my comments up so people can see them. There's the ones from Lisa Bartley from Montana. And now we have Small from somewhere. And they ask a question. What if there's 3 different departments, the same going case? Well, explain me the different departments. I don't understand what you mean. There's only one Department of Child Protection Systems. Okay, you're in California. That's closer. Can you tell me the city? We have Small from California and a warm welcome. I know you may be hesitant and you're worried they'll zero on you, but I'm only asking the city. And if it's not the city, what is the county? If you don't want to tell me the city, tell me the county. And I can tell you how many different departments are supposed to be. Now, CPS systems in California have one department, but it has different names in every county. In LA County, it's called the Department of Children and Family Services, or Department of Family and Children Services. I probably said that wrong. In Orange County next door, it's called the Child Protection Services. Now, they only have one department. They may have satellite offices. I think there's one out in Barstow or Bakersfield. I know that's approaching the county. But all they have is supervisors and a director. That's all there is. So Small, what county or city are you talking about in the CPS? Or what's the name of the CPS? I want to help you, Small. And thank you for calling in. You can take your time. Going back to Lisa, I have been talking about going to Congress. We need to get a representative or a senator, one of the congressmen or congresswoman that's a senator representative. Get us a chance to speak before Congress. Now, there was a congresswoman named Nancy Schaefer from Georgia, and she was fighting CPS. But lately, she was murdered. She wasn't committed suicide. So many people say it's suicide. It wasn't. Her children will testify that she was murdered, her and her husband. She was a very good woman because she believed in correcting the matter with CPS. But unfortunately, she was pretty drastic. She wanted to eliminate CPS. And CPS didn't want to hurt their $1 trillion business. Why do you think we're having a hard time with the sex trafficking or the drug cartel? Drugs and sex are the two worst enemies of the world. Think about it. Think about drugs and sex. Yes, we have criminal charges of thieving and killing and all the things are, but they're all rated around sex and drugs. The drug industry in South America and Central America, all through Mexico, has come to the United States so easily when we let our borders down. 4 years, we let millions of people every year come in, settle in the country, not become citizens, not learn U.S. government so they know how the legislative, the judiciary, or the executive department works, or how to vote, or how to do anything. They didn't learn that. They didn't learn U.S. history. But our early days in colonial times, revolutionary, the Indian Wars, the Revolutionary period, the day that the Capitol got burned to the ground by the British, the War of 1812. Or how about the Civil War? Or the Spanish-American War? Or World War I? Or World War II? Or the Korean War? Or the Vietnam War? And of course, we've had the Middle Eastern wars for a long time. And there's been other wars too, other wars by other nations. Right now, there's wars going on right now. Yes, the United States at war in Iran. It isn't a declared war. See, that's what people are confused about. If you're going to declare war on somebody, you have to go before Congress. But all our current president doing as commander-in-chief is helping innocent people being murdered, helping children being slaughtered. Over 30,000 people have been killed since January by the regime in Iran. 30,000 people, innocent people, because they, how it was 40 years ago, 50 years ago. They want freedom. They don't want, there's no women in power. Women are stripped of all rights. They're told to wear black clothing with only eye slits in. They're told not to drive, not to be doctors, not to be government, not to help out. The children are so badly treated in Iraq. So anyway, that's why we're over there. We're over there because we are worried about our security in the United States. We've had one thing that people have to understand. We've only had one foreign power ever invade the United States, and that was the British. And that was the War of 1812. That's the only time. Now, Japan did send miniature submarines off the west coast in California, and so did Nazi Germany send off submarines off the east coast. The ones on the east coast, I never heard of anything doing any damage. The west coast, they started some forest fires, but I never heard of anybody being killed. Now, yes, over to Hawaii, they did massacre all those innocent people sleeping on December 7th, 1941 in their bunks aboard the battleships, sound asleep. It was a surprise attack. And again, it was by a regime that's so bad. Just like right now, Russia is trying to go back to the old Soviet Union. Why? Well, they got a leader that's an ex-KGB. He had a full-time position in the Soviet Union and USSR as a KBG agent. Those were the secret police that did atrocious things. And they're taking millions of children and abusing the children. And they're making soldiers out of the children. And I don't know why a dumb country like North Korea would send their soldiers over there, but that leader doesn't care about its people. Because those North Koreans are being slaughtered by Ukraine. Ukraine is so proud. They're so proud they're not going to give up. and Russia doesn't recognize it, just like Iran won't give up. Iran has lost everything. I mean, they are going to be so pulverized. I mean, you're going against the world's greatest power there in the United States. Now, we're all trying to protect children around the world and in the United States. And I want to stick here with, how we can, but it's really, I'm on different tangents there. Now, I haven't heard from Small. Here she is. So their offices are involved in Santa Clarita. What are the offices? Because you're the first person. Okay. I have Van Nuys, Santa Clarita, and Chatsworth office with different personnel involved. But I did my research, and these social workers are not licensed. Well, I think you need to do more. And hello, Robin Holt. Welcome, Robin Holt. And John, you just got home from working, and you got to visit with your son today. John is from Pennsylvania, I remember. John is from Pennsylvania. And is that right? Robin Holt, I forgot where you're from. But welcome, Robin Holt and John Hartle. And Small, I'm not ignoring you. But Van Nuys office is all part of the Department of Children and Family and Children's Services for LA County. The Chatsworth office is part of LA County. There's no office that is recognized. There are fake people. And Santa Clarita, I don't know what county that is. There's no CPS in the city of Santa Clarita. There's a county. I'd have to look that up. And the Van Nuys is part of LA County too. Now, they may have satellite offices, but they're all part of one department. It's called in LA County. It's called the Department of Family and Children's Services. Department D, Family DFCS. So Van Nuys and Chatsworth are all part of, and Santa Clarita, I'm thinking of Santa Clarita, that is part of LA County. I'm thinking of something up north. Those three are just maybe satellite offices. Maybe they have opened up a small little office, but they're all part of the same department. They're all part of the same department. Don't let them buffalo you, Small. Van Nuys, Santa Clarita, and Chatsworth. There's Monterey Park, too. You might as well throw in Monterey Park. And then there's another one out there in Lancaster. I think it's Lancaster. It goes up to Bakersfield. But all the one department. And they're not licensed. Well, I got news for you. Social workers don't have to be licensed. They should, but they don't have to be licensed. They don't have to have a college degree, and they should. They should have a college degree in social services, but they don't. They're lucky if they have a high school. I know that for a fact. In Orange County, my social worker barely completed high school. She only worked in a couple months, and she was handling our case. And her life is how to tell our daughter at 12, divorce your parents if you don't like your parents. You can get out of here. Well, if you give a kid $1,000 to get out of here, he may take it and go on. Anybody can be bought. She was bought because the foster care people as her gave things I used to give, I couldn't give. And I granted, my kids were spoiled. They were spoiled so bad. And I regret it. As I look back, I was too lax with them. Anything they wanted. A Barbie house I remember getting for her that was too expensive, but I got it for her. Disneyland was very expensive. And I start off with me and my wife and her daughter, that later was my stepdaughter. The four of us had Disneyland passes, and I think together it was $1,000. It still was expensive. I think it was $250 a piece. And maybe the child was cheaper. But then when our other children got born, when we started to have three other children along with my stepdaughter, and she had a child, a boy that wasn't of a relationship, but was out of rape. And then my daughter, my firstborn, was my first marriage that was stolen from me. No, I want to help you, Small. And I want to know what they are doing. What are you accused of, Small? I will help you. And like Lisa will tell you, I help you. Lisa tells you, I help you. There's 3 different offices, but not departments, Small. I'm going back and reading the news. Okay. And I have John Harte and hello from Robin. Yes, Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania. I remember, John. What question do you have for me? Small says Department of Children and Family Services. Okay, DCFS. That's the only department. You may be talking to 3 satellite offices, but they don't have to have licenses. They should. CPS, all social workers should be licensed and relicensed. It should not be a permanent license. It should be like a California driver's license that's good for 2 years or 4 years. I think as you get older, it's good for 2. I don't know. But it should have a period of time. And during that time, they should update their information, their history. They need to take more classes in CPS, more classes in social services. But anyway, I want to help you, Small, so tell me more. John Harte says, get an hour tonight with him. Okay. Yeah, I will talk to you for 1 hour. There's 3 hours a day I talk to you. Now, it's almost 2:00. That's when my show ends. But I have about 5 more minutes because I have a running clock and I have a showtime clock. My show times are 8:00 in the morning to 9:00. And then 1:00 to 2:00 in the afternoon. And then at 6:00 to 7:00. Those are all Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast of California. I'm broadcasting live from Surf City, USA, south of Los Angeles. I'm in Orange County. That's the county. That county is called the Child Protection Services, CPS. You have to understand, every county will have different names. That's why I call it the Child Protection Systems. And the Child Protection Systems stands for CPS. So I just use CPS. So when I talk about DCFS, I'm talking about CPS. If I talk about the Department of Children's Services in Prescott, Arizona, I'm saying CPS. Now, you said, Small, something about a courthouse. Yes, Inman is the courthouse. Who is Edmond and what city is that in? Is that in Santa Clarita, Van Nuys, Monterey Park? Where's that courthouse located? There may be several courthouses. LA County is one of the biggest counties in the US. Orange County is big too, but all they have is one courthouse and one CPS. They don't have satellite offices that I've run across. They have several offices. They have the Taj Mahal where the director sits and works. It's like a 10-story building that looks like the Taj Mahal in India or like the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. Now, John says he got a lawyer. Okay. Oh, he got a lawyer. Does he have to register with the juvenile court system? Okay. First of all, John, hopefully you got a paid lawyer, a lawyer that is paid and has experience and has a license that is issued from the state of the bar. If he doesn't have a license in the state of California, he can't practice law. Now, in your case, in CPS, he must have a background in dependency law and then also have family law and juvenile law. Those are 3 areas that make him a good attorney for fighting CPS. Now, Vincent, the one I'm telling you that you can hire, I know he's too expensive. He's also a criminal attorney. He can practice, he can do trial by jury. He's a trial judge. He also is a civil judge. He can do civil lawsuits against CPS. He's not afraid to stand up or fight CPS. He's not afraid. Okay, Small, you're saying it in such abbreviation, I don't understand what you mean. They say the status says surrender. You don't have to surrender your children. They have to be in immediate danger or have a court order. If they're not in immediate danger, they can't take your child. If you don't have a court order like a warrant, they can't take your child. Now, you said it was canceled. So was it taking your child canceled? Okay, Small from somewhere in California, from LA County, I should say. Small from LA County, California says, they removed my son from custody with allegations that do not pertain to my son. That's the false allegations. But someone must have called in, either a professional person like a fireman, a policeman, a school teacher, a doctor, a nurse, a caregiver, a daycare worker, a principal, a counselor, school nurse. One of those are professionals. So it's either called in by two of those people or a layperson, siblings, your aunt, uncle, brothers, sisters, the person, the friend up the street, your neighbor, the acquaintances. Those are all called lay people. They're the ones that do the reporting. And the professionals get it right 50% of the time. The lay people get it right 25% of the time. So, what are the allegations that they're charging you? And by the way, CPS, when they hear something, they believe you're guilty until you're proven innocent. It's the only court of law. Dependency court is the only court of law where you are guilty till you're proven innocent. Every other court of law, you're innocent till you're proven guilty. Now, Small says I had another case where my daughter got adopted, and you're using her findings only. Well, there's more to the case than have it. I don't know if that was family law. Did you not have a CPS case? You're going through a divorce and you wanted to have your daughter adopted? Or you couldn't take care of your daughter, that would be a CPS case, and you gave up the adoption. What happened? Why did you have your daughter adopted? No mother gives up a child unless they have no other resource. They can't take care of the child. Mothers love their children. Fathers love their children. Families don't need to be broken apart. They are. They're broken apart all the time. And they will come back to haunt you. If you are in foster care as a young child, later on when you grow up, your children will be taken from you. CPS doesn't forget. They follow you. That's why you need to expunge your records when you turn 18. You need to clean all criminal records, all allegations by CPS. They need to be off. If you're found not guilty, they need to be off. Do not ever compromise. Don't settle. Like a fool, I was led to believe to settle on my criminal charges, and my other charges came later. Well, they were there, but they couldn't do anything to the criminal charges. And so I had to accept, because first of all, I was charged by CPS for negligence. And the negligence was because of my parents' belongings in my house who had passed away. I didn't have money to afford a storage, and I was sorting the things in one part of my house, which is huge, downstairs in the living room. I had furniture and boxes stacked because I could not leave them outside covered properly, because the association CCRs allowed no things outside on the driveway except a vehicle. That's how they read the law. Because at first I had my parents' belongings out there. I should have put them in storage. I regret at that time when I lost my job, and this was in 2025 or 2014 when the belongings were there. 2015 is when CPS trafficked my children into foster care. Now, John Hartle says he put a retainer of $3,000. That's a good price. I am so happy that you got yourself an attorney. I just hope he's the right one. I hope he's licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. I hope he is licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. And he should be licensed as a dependency lawyer, a family lawyer, and a juvenile lawyer. If he has more licenses, like a criminal lawyer or a civil lawyer, that's a good plus. But the minimum is dependency law, family law, and juvenile law. And $3,000 is a good price for a retainer. I don't know how much the hourly rate is. I don't know if the hourly rate's $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like you're on the right boat there, John. Now, Small from LA County, California says, I had a social worker before this recent one, but that case never made it to court because they didn't have anything on it that's sufficient. So why did they adopt your daughter? Now all of a sudden they use what they use. They will capitalize on that. If you're found not guilty, it's your responsibility to have your record expunged. And well, I didn't know that social workers had license in LA County. I heard that it wasn't mandatory to have a license. I have to look at that further, Small. No, I was in prison when they did okay, you're incarcerated. There's nothing wrong. But still, when you're in prison, couldn't you set your daughter to be temporary guardian of a grandparent, a brother, or somebody else besides being adopted so that you could come out and raise your daughter when you did your time? I have a lot of people on my show that have been incarcerated and gotten back their son or daughter. I have a lady in Georgia that hasn't been on a show in a while, but she's really sweet. She was incarcerated and she finally got her son back, special needs son, after he was trapped at age 19, still in the hands of CPS. They lie and lie about so many. I know they lie. They're fabricators. So much of the proceedings were done illegal. I mean, I understand. I know that. I heard that from you, Small. You're one of my 2,500 people in the United States, or 2,600 people in the world that have now, not in the world, but 100 more in the world that have said that. He's from Colorado. Okay, that's fine. Does he have a license to practice in Pennsylvania? Every attorney in every state must have a license to practice in that state. John, be awful careful. Be awful careful, John. I'm staying on to help out John a little bit here. I've already gone over 2 minutes of my running time, and I need to end the show quick here. But if he's from Colorado, make sure he has a license. Ask to see his license in Pennsylvania. I didn't know you're looking for a lawyer in Colorado. And how's he coming all the way from Colorado to Pennsylvania with airfare and hotel accommodations and land transportation and a license fee for only $3,000? That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. Anyway, John, please see me at 6 o'clock tonight. I need to talk to you further. Small, come back and talk to me further. I want to help you at 6 o'clock, but I do have to go. I do have to go. Okay? So we have John from Butler, Pennsylvania. We have Small from LA County, California. And we can't forget Lisa, who started. Oh, Robin Holt. Robin Holt, please come back. I haven't heard anything further except a warm hello. A warm hello back to you. And Lisa Barkley, please come back. I know it's an hour ahead, but it's 7 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock my time. I'd like to hear you further. It's so good that you're here, Lisa. You started this off getting people to talk. I'm so glad, Lisa. Lisa, you're wonderful, wonderful. All of you are wonderful. God bless you all. God bless you all. Don't give up. Keep fighting for your child. Never give up. Come here first. Come here, and thanks for the emoji. You got a thumbs up. That's great. But anyway, there's a video that plays after my show's over. Please watch it. It'll put you in good spirits. And remember, just come and see me. I will help you. I have 5 rules. Get an attorney. Do your documentation. Never talk to a social worker or let them in or take your child. Be careful when you're medical. Don't let them take your child, whether you're having a baby or urgent care with your child. Go to the internet. Spend hundreds of hours. Make sure you ask it right. City, state, and then the words CPS. And then whatever you want after that. And then do the same thing, people in the country, city and country. And 5, never give up. Those are my 5 rules that'll help you. So take care. God bless you. I'll see you at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left, but you're